guys, it's Kat here and I'm back today. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment. It's the conclusion of my autumn project pan. So if you're not familiar, on this channel this year I'm doing seasonal project pans. Now I am in the southern hemisphere, so my seasons are opposite the northern hemisphere, so I'm in winter at the moment. I know a lot of people are in summer. Confuses people. It is what it is. Welcome to my world. Anyway, so I had done a 3-month summer project pan at the start of the year, which sort of went into autumn because I started it in January, but technically summer starts in December, so it kind of went into autumn, and then my autumn project pan has gone into winter. Now the reason I'm doing seasonal project pans is because I feel like the products that I want to use at any particular time of the year sort of changes depending on the seasons. So you know, I tend to go more hydrating products in the winter. I tend to go lighter shades, more matte, long wearing, deeper shades in the warmer months. I also tend to go more sort of bronzy, glowy skin in the warmer months, and I tend to go, you know, lighter complexion colors and whatnot in the cooler months. So I decided to do seasonal project pans for that very reason, but I'm so excited to conclude my autumn one. It's been a long one, guys. It's been a mission. So what I do in these sort of conclusion videos is I tell you the products that I've used up since my last check-in, which was just over a month ago, and I tell you the products that I didn't complete, unfortunately, and I also do a recap over all the products that I included in my project pan, so we can see from the very start through to the very end what I used up, what I thought of it, how hard it was to use up, that kind of thing. Okay, I'll start with the products that I've used up since my last check-in, which was just over a month ago. The first thing is I've used up the fragrance that I included in this project pan. So you can see it is completely done. This is the Lady Gaga fragrance in Fame. It was quite easy to use in this sort of season because it's quite a soft scent. It's not too overpowering. It's sort of like vanilla-y. So yeah, on the screen you'll be able to see the progression from throughout the whole project pan. So where I started and then the check-ins. So I'm very happy to say that I finished that because yeah, I'm sort of including a fragrance in each seasonal project pan because I've got a bit of a fragrance graveyard happening, and I sort of want to use the ones that I like, but I don't, they're going to go off soon. The next thing that I did finish up was my Maybelline. This is the Master Fix Wear Boosting Setting Spray. Now, this was one of those products that probably I should have included more in the sort of summer project pan because I didn't like using this. I'm more into like hydrating products at the moment. So this was a bit of a struggle, but at the same time, I did learn that I didn't use this all the time. I maybe used it once or twice a week, but it was very easy to use up. So setting sprays, if you use, you know, 3, 4, 5 sprays at a time, you can use these up pretty quickly. So you can see on the side here sort of where I started it, which was nearly full. Then I went down check-in 1, check-in 2, and now it's empty. So that was a pretty stable, like easy product to get through. Also ignore the fact that I've got black all over my fingers. It's kind of annoying and I didn't realize, but I'll explain that in my winter project pan intro. So pretty much the last product that I've used up since my last check-in is my Uemura lip liner. So I don't know what shade this is. Pretty much just a nude pink lip liner. And it got to the point where I could no longer like sharpen it because I couldn't grip it to twist it. So I've used that up. I actually, once again, similar to the setting spray, I didn't use this too often. I mainly use this maybe twice a week, just all over the lips, then put a lip balm over the top. And it was very, very easy to use this up. Sharpened products, so easy to use up. So you can see where it started on the screen and where I got to throughout the check-ins, but I have completed that. And that is pretty much all the products that I completed since last time. There are a lot of products here that I didn't complete, but I got pretty close to, and I'm still quite proud of. And if I maybe gave it another week, I would have been able to complete them. But I feel like we're getting so far into winter and I haven't even started my winter project pan. So I just had to, you know, deal with it, and I'm going to move some of the projects over to the next project pan. But one product that I won't move over is Thin Lizzy. This is the 6-in-1 professional powder. This is in the shade Light. This is one of those products that they say you can use it as a this, you can use it as a that, you can use it as a eyeshadow, you can use it as a lip product, and you can use it as whatever you want, same as any pretty much powder product. But this is a bronzer. But I did actually do a lot of progress since my last check-in. Now my last check-in was about 5 weeks ago, and I have been using this a lot, and I've been using a lot of it. Probably not the best thing because it doesn't look so great on fair skin when you use a lot of bronzer, but I've been trying to make it work, and you can see that I only really have this much left to go. Last time I checked in, you'll see on the screen I just had a little bit of pan that I'd hit, and ever since then it was just, I was going gangbusters. I was just using so much of it up, and I was so close to using it. The ring around here sort of started crumbling. I used some of it fell out, whatever, and I feel like if I gave this once again another week, I would wear some of this down, some will crumble away, and I would have virtually finished the product. So even though this is not completely finished, I'm seeing this as being a win, because if you can see on the screen, I started where there was like no pan dent whatsoever, and over the last 3 months I have pretty much used up a whole bronzer. So I'm very proud of myself. I'm not going to continue this into my next project pan because I feel like this shade, it's a good sort of summer shade for me, but when I'm a bit fairer, my skin tone is a little bit more pink, and this is a little bit too warm for it. So even though I did enjoy this, it wasn't too bad as a bronzer, I do want to move on to a new bronzer. So yeah, this, I'm going to consider this done. It's not bad. Another product that I believe I would have finished if I gave myself another week. So I mentioned this eyeshadow pigment that I've been using as a highlighter. I'm wearing it today. It's a very beautiful highlighter. I've been thoroughly enjoying it, but look, I was struggling using all of this up, and I was struggling mainly because I couldn't get the product out of the sifter. So I'd shake it and shake it and shake it, and there'll just be little dregs coming out, and it was very hard to use a decent amount of product until I took the sifter off. And I probably should have done that a few weeks earlier. I only did this last week, and that made things a lot easier, and it made it a lot easier accessing the product. So if you can see in there is virtually no product in there. This is like a week's worth of, maybe 2 if I want to stretch it, not even. Definitely a week's worth of product in there. So I feel like I've almost finished that, and like I said, if I gave myself just 1 more week, that would have been amazing. I would have finished up almost every product, but I still feel like this is a really good win. And what I might do is I might continue this into my next project pan, and this is sort of like a cop out of a product because there's not much product in there, but I will explain at the end what I'm going to do with my next project pan and why I'm sort of happy to include these products that will not take very long to use up. All right, I'm like a broken record, but once again, if I gave myself another week, I reckon I would have been able to use up my MAC paint pot. This is in the shade Utterly Becoming, and if you can see here, I have virtually, I only have the sides left. Now this is a good week's worth of product, but still, I think I did such a good job. Yeah, I've been trying, and I've been trying to apply as much of this as possible, but I just couldn't make it. So yeah, there's 3 products in my project pan that if I gave it just 1 to 2 more weeks, I would have totally smashed it out of the park. But I'm very proud of this progress once again, and once again, I'm probably going to carry this over to the next project pan so I can just completely use that up. Okay, the last product that I didn't finish up, but I'd made some good progress on, and I am once again carrying it over to the next project pan, is my Anastasia not dip brow pomade. That's not it at all. It's my, what is it? The Brow Powder Duo in the shade Dark Brown. Now I wanted to completely use up this lighter side that I like to use on my brows, and I almost made it. The pan just was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but I didn't quite make it. I also have been dipping into the darker side quite a lot recently, which is surprising, but as I've been wearing sort of more bold, smoky makeup, I've been quite liking the darker brows. So I thought I'm going to continue with this on in the next project pan. I'm going to try to use up that side and hit pan on that side. So yeah, this is not the end of this, which is good because it's a great product and I've been really enjoying using it. I'm just a little bit sad that I couldn't get that down because, oh, so close. But yeah, if you look on the screen where I started, I think I've done a really good job. And I think next project pan, I'd really like to see the dark shade hit pan on as well. And I think once I've done that, I'm happy to move on to other products. That is really old, that brow powder duo, and as long as I've given myself a really good shot with it where I've tried to use it quite a lot and I have really enjoyed it, then I'm happy to say goodbye to it. All right, the last two products that I've still been using from last check-in that I haven't made any progress on really. Firstly is the primer. This is the Makeup Forever Mattifying Primer. Now, I didn't even mark where I'm up to this time around because I pretty much stopped using this. I did say in my last check-in that it is now sort of getting too cold and I'm not getting oily enough for me to warrant using a mattifying primer. And this is not just a normal mattifying primer. This is a really heavy duty mattifying primer where it almost feels like you're putting glue in your T-zone. And yes, your foundation sticks to it really well. And if you've got oily skin, it does help the longevity of that area. But I can't use this all over my face because it just gets too dry. And I am finding that I really can't wear it too much in my T-zone in winter either. So I'm actually putting this off until summer and I will come back to this. So this is out of the project pan and I really didn't touch it at all since my last check-in. But the product that I have been using every single goddamn day almost is the Illamasqua Naked Rose blush. And even though I've been using this for 3 months, pretty much every day there is no pan. Now there is a dent in there. I'm now starting to see a dent. I'll have to try to capture it on camera because I know, like on a photo and put it on the screen because I know that you can't really see that in the viewfinder right now. Yeah, I've been using this a lot and it's not doing anything. I did have a bunch of people recommend to use this and also the bronzer as an eyeshadow, and under normal circumstances I totally would. But because on my channel I also do a 1 month 1 palette series where I focus on 1 palette a month and I try to use every color in that palette. I try to use that palette almost exclusively and then I review and let you guys know how I liked that palette after using it for a month. I haven't wanted to delve into these sort of products as eyeshadows because I take photos of my looks and I feel like other products will compromise those looks, if that makes sense. So if I wasn't doing other series where I'm focusing on eyeshadow palettes, I totally would use this as an eyeshadow. I totally would use the bronzer as an eyeshadow. But yeah, I can't. Just because of my series, I can't. But I will also, oh, can you see a dent there? Look at the dent. Oh my God, you can kind of see it on camera. Can you see a slight shadow? That's a lot of work. That's 3 months of work. This blush does not die. Anyway, you can see from start to finish me using this throughout the 3 months and there is a slight dip. Trust me, even if you can't see it, there is a slight dip, but I will include this in my next project pan as well. Okay, so even though those are the products that I have currently had in my project pan, there are other products that throughout the last few months I have already used up and talked about in my empties and gotten rid of, but I'll put on the screen the progress from start to finish so you can see how those went. But the first one is the MAC Prolongwear Concealer in NC20. This one was taking quite a while. I believe this was a carry-on from my summer project pan, and I was taking a while to use it. But then when I started using it sort of mixed with my foundation and more of it on a sponge, I started getting through it really quickly. So that was a pretty easy one to use up. I also used up the Rimmel Lasting Finish Full Cover Foundation. This one I used up in like virtually a month or month and like a week. This was super easy to use up. Now I did use this most days. It was a good color match for me. It did wear well on my oily skin, but I think I just found that I had to use a lot of it, like literally 4 to 5 pumps of it on a sponge to cover my whole face quite evenly. It didn't feel super cakey, so that was fine, but I used that up super quickly. So that one was like maybe 5 weeks of use, from it almost being finished to completely being full. So that was an interesting one. Then I also used up my Revlon Colorstay foundation. Now this one was virtually, maybe had a third left from memory, and I used this up within a month. This one I had to mix with a more dewy foundation. I love this foundation in summer, just on my oily skin, but once again in winter I was really struggling using it on its own, so I sort of mixed it. It lasted a month. It is what it is. Come on, reversing truck, hurry up. Boogie, what is that? What's happening? He's always interested in trucks. All right, and then the last thing I used up was a lip product, and I was very proud of myself because I find it very hard to use up lip products because I change my lip products all the time, as you can probably see. But this was Elizabeth Arden. It was called the Color Bold Liquid Lipstick in the shade Daring Beige. Now, I loved this product. This was so easy to use. This was like a hybrid between like a lipstick, a lip gloss, a lip stain. It just lasted really well on the lips. The color was really beautiful and flattering. It was quite a cool toned nude as well, so I find those shades look really good in winter. I happily use this. I had it in my bag. I really enjoyed it. It took me a couple of months to use it up, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I recommend those products, and yeah, so those are the products that I used up. All right, so over the last 3 months, I've technically used up 7, if you want to include this one, which is virtually used up. It's 8, if you want to maybe include this one. It's 9, but because I'm carrying this over, we won't. We'll just say, look, we'll say 8. 8-ish, give or take. I used up 8 products, which I think is really good. And what I will do now, after I film this, is I will film the introduction to my winter project pan, and I'm going to start getting onto that ASAP. What I am doing this time around, which is slightly different, and why I'm sort of carrying over products from this project pan into my winter one, is because I've decided to cut it a month short. Now, seasons go for 3 months, but because I started my summer project pan a month late, and I'm, you know, we're now in the middle of winter, and I kind of feel like I don't want to do a 3-month project pan for winter products when I'm already halfway through the season. So I'm cutting it down to a 2-month project pan, so I can pretty much start the spring products mid first month of spring, which makes more sense to me. So that's what we're doing. So I am going to be taking a few of these products over to the next project pan. It's going to be a slightly shorter one, but if you do want to see that, then tune in tomorrow or the day after. It'll be up. And if you did want to see any other videos from my previous project pan check-ins or my summer project pan, I will link the description box, not the description box on the screen. That does not make sense. I will link the playlist in the description box, and I'll also have it on the screen. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you for the introduction to my winter project pan. Bye guys.